Custom handmade maps are now available in Spellmasons, and I'm going to show you how to make your own. So first of all, if you want to make a handmade map in Spellmasons, make sure that you've watched the other tutorial videos so you know how to clone the repository and get a test environment up and running. Once you do that, you can download Tiled at mapeditor.org. When that's downloaded, you can go into your Spellmasons repository and look for the map editor folder and double click on one of these TMX files to see what a sample room or sample map looks like. We're going to create our own though, so we're going to go new map, and let's just make a small one. You can do control mouse wheel to zoom in and out. These are your tiles over on the right. There's only 4 kinds of tiles that you need to worry about. There's ground, there's water, there's a top wall, and there's a bottom wall, okay? So I like to start by painting with the top wall to make my boundary. So let's just make like a box with some little details in it like this. Great. Okay, so now for aesthetic reasons, you need to paint bottom walls on top walls that are touching grass only on the bottom side, like this. So after I do that, I'm going to make sure that there's a top wall above them so that it looks good. And let's erase this over here. Then we can use the fill tool and put in some ground. And let's put a little bit of water here. Now, the first rule to watch out for in Spellmasons is that water always needs to be surrounded with a border of ground. It will mess up the engine if water is plopped right next to a wall, for example, or if 2 instances of water share a margin. They can't share a margin, so unless they're connected. So this would be okay. This is not okay. And this would be okay. And this is not okay. All right. So now that we've done that, let's export our map. So we're going to name it. Let's call it tutorial. And then we go File, Export As, and let's call it tutorial. Yes. Okay. Now open up your editor and go to mapshandmade.ts. It's in the source file. And then let's also open up that tutorial file. Okay. All that we need is the object inside of layers. We're only working with 1 layer, so I want to select all of that. And then I want to add a comma in maps handmade and paste our layer in. Now, when you're making your mod, your maps object will be exported in your mod's maps array. But for now, we're just going to put it inside of maps handmade so that we can access it quickly. The only properties that are necessary are data, height, name, and width, but the others can stay. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so we have our game running with npm start, like so, and every time there's a code change, it's going to restart the browser. Now press F12, go into console, and type force custom map name, and then the name of your map. Capitalization is important. Hit enter. And now I'm going to play, and here is the map right here. So you can see that water always expands. It expanded to fill, I'm just going to use this to mark, these tiles right here. This is probably the trickiest thing about making maps in Spellmasons, is that water needs to have proper margins or else it's going to mess things up and could actually cause gameplay problems if you don't maintain proper margins. The other thing that's important is just to make sure that these visually pleasing bottom tiles always have a top one over them, and that any top tiles that are touching grass always have a bottom tile underneath it. Otherwise, it's going to look funky. That doesn't look like it's a wall. So, and it will act like a wall in the game, and that won't look good. So, just something that's important to know. Oh, and one more thing, you can resize your map if you don't like the size of it. So if I wanted to make like a tunnel or something taller, I can increase the height and then change the offset like so. And now I can say, okay, I want this like secret room over here, and then just border it. And of course, don't forget the decorative tiles. Okay, another quick detail. I made a map called Water World, which is mostly water. I'm going to go to it right now. Pretty cool map. So if you want to make a map like Waterworld, there's one thing to remember. First of all, I already mentioned there has to be a ground around it. And then the one other thing is that the ground on the inside, at least one of these islands, needs to be touching the border. It's just an issue with the engine that has to be obeyed. Not a huge deal. So if you are going to make a huge water map, there has to be a connection. That is all that it takes to make maps in Spellmasons. Let's look at how to package it up into a mod. Okay, so here I have a mod, the Doom Scroll. And there are other YouTube videos on how to actually make a mod, but this is the mod object with all the information about the mod, the name, author, the spells, the units, whatever. Now, there is a new array called maps like this, and all you have to do is you take that map object like this, and you put it into the mod, like so. And now, when you build the mods and package them into the game, this map will be accessible. So I'm looking forward to see what you guys come up with. Feel free to ask me any questions in Discord. This should be about everything.